Key Nation, what's going on, man? It's your boy Manuel Keen, and today you seen in the title, we're going to be going over tips and tricks on how to get your lead vocals to sit perfectly in the beat, man. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Hit that like button, 'cause we a movement, boy. Let's get it. Key Nation, what is going on, man? Welcome to King Productions, man. I want to go over really briefly on how to get vocals, your lead vocals specifically, to sit perfectly in the beat, what pros do, what pro audio engineers do in order to get that to happen. Now, when I first started doing this, I had no idea what to do, okay? But as you age, you feel me, and as you get a little bit more experience in this stuff, you start to learn a few things. So I want to go ahead and show you guys what I mean by that. So boom, let's go ahead and look over to the screen here. I have this song called Key to a Healthy Relationship. I actually implemented one of these methods into this song specifically so that we can get this vocal to sit perfectly in the mix. So let's go ahead and play a little bit for you guys so you guys can hear what I'm talking about.
If I tell you this, then I'm gonna get canceled, but fuck it, cause it's the truth. And I finally found the answer. You gotta be dark or honest and never show your emotion. And if you sympathize, then you do it with all your homies. You better not ever cry from the women, they won't respect you. They'll tell you to open up, when you do, then they gon' neglect you.
So that is called that's called Key to a Healthy Relationship. It's by moi. You know what I'm saying? If you guys want to go stream that, please do. I'll put the link in the description. It's actually going pretty viral right now. So you know, if you like it, go ahead and download it. You feel me? But I want to go ahead and show you guys what I did in order to get this vocal to sit on top of the beat, to sit perfectly in this mix. Sounds good. It's going viral. People love the production of it. So I went ahead and said, you know what? Let me put this on my channel and show y'all. You feel me? So the first thing that I do want to go over is that this is very, very important. This is actually a method that you need to implement when you do anything, okay? Especially with two-track instrumentals, with two-track sessions. Okay, it's very, very, very important that you lower the beat. Okay, always lower the beat, because for the most part, I don't want to say all the time, but for the most part, whenever you get beats off of YouTube, SoundClick, I don't even know if that's still around now, Hipstrumentals, wherever you get your beats from, for the most part, if you just get a waveform, then it's just going to be one specific waveform, one specific track, right? And what these producers do, what these producers like to do is they like to master their beat so that it can sound louder, and subconsciously when the other people hear it, it's like, oh, this beat is hard. It's hard, but it wouldn't hit as hard if it wasn't mastered, okay? Now, what is mastering, King? Mastering is when you just make things a lot louder, okay? And if you don't know anything about the audio engineering world, when you actually mix, you want to make sure that things are quiet. They're not super duper quiet, but we want to make sure that things are quiet so that we have enough headspace to master at the end of the process. And that's where we're at right now. We are in the mixing process. So we got to make sure that this beat is low so that we can do what we need to do in order for the lead vocal to sit on top of the beat or sit in the mix, right? So that's exactly what I did. If you divert your attention, divert your attention over here where I have it highlighted, I went ahead and lowered the beat by negative 7.2 dB, and it's probably sitting, let's play it real quick. So it's sitting right there at 6, you know, that's kind of, at negative 6, that's kind of where we want our decibel range to be whenever we lower the beat, just because the human voice, whenever it, it talks and it goes over these beats or whatever the case is, I found that it sits, on top of around negative 6 dB. So that's when I went ahead and lowered it so that these levels can pretty much hit there when I play it. Okay, so that's exactly what I did. I actually got that tip from Wavy Wayne. If you guys don't know who that is, please check him out. He's super duper dope. WAVY Wayne. Whenever you mix two-track instrumentals. So I went ahead and did that, right? And that's just one primal focus on what to do in order to get the vocals to sit on top of the beat. Now, there are some beats out there that are lower in value, and if that is the case, then you don't want to lower it that low. You know what I'm saying? Like, it might be good at -3, it might be good at -4. It all depends on how the beat is, but for the most part, you want to make sure that, you know, beats are a lot louder than -6 dB. You know what I'm saying? So you want to make sure that it's around that area, around that range, so that when you get ready to mix your lead in, that it stays right on top of that decibel range. So that is tip number one. Tip number two. Okay, now these methods I use sometimes I don't. I'm actually going to reveal a method that I don't ever use. But tip number two on how to get the vocals to sit on top of the beat is double compression. Okay, I use this method a lot. I use it a lot. Now, I'm going to explain what I mean by double compression. Double compression is that you want to use an initial compression that's pretty much doing all of the heavy lifting. That's compressing those vocals, that's making sure it's taming those dynamic frequencies, but still is the oomph, you know, that's still bringing that lead vocal forward into the beat so that you can hear it. That's the initial one, right? And then the next compression that you include in your audio chain will be the just the little slight lifter, that little push that the vocal gets so that it can holistically sit on top of the beat and you can really hear it. And then those little those transients that are in the beat, i.e. the kick, whether it's a really heavy melody that's sitting in the mid range, those transients that's within the beat for that double compression, it's actually breaking through, it's peeking through, so that when the average listener hears it, they know what they're saying, right? They know what the lead vocal is saying. So what do you mean by that, Keen? If you pretty much divert your attention over here to what I got highlighted, I believe this is bus one though, right? Am I going to bus one? Okay, cool. Yeah, so divert your attention over here to what I got highlighted. I will show you guys what I got going on for this vocal. So right here, I have, if it'll work for me, thank you. I have the TubeTech CO1B. It is a paid compressor. Okay, it was like $200, you feel me? But it works absolute wonders. I have this doing pretty much all of the heavy lifting. Now, granted, the threshold is not that high, okay? The threshold is not -10, -15 dB because it works just like that. I promise you. You don't want to smash using this compressor, because if you do, you're not going to have any vocals at the end of it. Okay? But I pretty much have this doing all of the heavy lifting. I have it taming those dynamic frequencies. I have it doing what it needs to do, and pushing that vocal forward so that, you know, you can hear the vocal. So let me go ahead and actually bypass what I have going on over here and show you guys what I got going.
If I tell you this, then I'm gonna get canceled, but fuck it, cause it's the truth. And I finally found the answer. You gotta be darker honest and never show your emotion. And if you sympathize, then you do it with all your homies. You better not ever cry from the women.
So that is what I have with the compressor on there. Now, if I bypass this, you guys will hear the difference without.
If I tell you this, then I'm gonna get canceled.
Hold on, give me a quick second.
If I tell you this, then I'm gonna get canceled, but fuck it, cause it's the truth. And I finally found the answer. You gotta be darker honest and never show you.
So the vocal is actually a lot louder, right? But it's super duper dynamic, okay? You hear those transients, you hear those peaks, you hear those highs and all of that. And the vocal is a lot louder, but when it's a lot louder, it's still very, very uncomfortable to listen to. So you want to make sure that you implement compression in there, right? So as I did that, I went ahead and added it. It controls it a lot more. Still does that heavy lifting in terms of taming those dynamic frequencies and keeping it very, very under control. But what that did was it put it under the beat, right? You can hear it, but you can't really hear it as much. It really put it under the beat, right? So what I did in order to avoid that, right, was I added another compressor. So what we'll do is, I think this is the de-esser right here, but what I did was I added the CLA 76, which is a great, it's a FET compressor, but it's a great compressor that really adds that presence and that oomph. I really like a lot of presence in my vocal, so it really adds that presence in that vocal. And I went ahead and implemented that so that we can get that extra push and you can hear what the vocal is doing over the instrumentation.
If I tell you this, then I'm gonna be darker honest and never show your emotion. And if you sympathize, then you do it with all your homies. You better not ever never cry from the women
With?
that won't respect you. They'll tell you to open up when you do, then they gon' neglect you.
Without?
I promise you'll be a bitch in their eyes, and I'm no first aid. I played a nice guy for too long, now I'm mad.
Now, if you look carefully, this the attack is not really going. It's not really squashing. The release is not really squashing. You know, I'm boosting this output by a little bit. I'm boosting the input by a little bit. For those who don't know, the default setting of this is, and I don't want to change anything because this song is still doing what it's doing. So, but the default setting of this is around this range right here. It's around that range. Those are the default settings. So I didn't really do that much with this CLA 76. I just pushed it a little bit, just a little bit, so that everything that I said with this lead kind of, you know, sits over the beat, and you can clearly hear it, right? I got the tube tech that's doing the heavy lifting, essentially, really squashing those transients. Not really squashing the transients, because I still want naturality, or I still want the vocal to sound natural, or whatever the case is. I have the tube tech doing that, but as it's doing that, it really puts it under the beat because of the compression that it's doing. So in order to give it that little push, I added that CLA 76. So that is one of the methods that you can use in order to get the vocal to sit on top of the beat. Now, another method that you can use to get to sit on top of the beat is something that a lot of professional audio engineers do. It's something that I need to probably do going forward. It's actually a method that I never use, but I definitely need to, is vocal writing. Now, that's vocal automation. Shout out to the homie Swole. If you're watching this, I saw that he did it, as well as a few other audio engineers, Leslie Braithwaite. That's actually the only audio engineer that I saw do it. But it's done. You know what I'm saying? A lot of audio engineers do that. So vocal writing is essentially vocal automation. It's when you, not vocal automation, volume automation. So that's essentially when you go over what you go over with the lead vocal, and you pretty much automate the vowels and the enunciations of the actual vocal as the lead is going, right? So for instance, let's go ahead and bypass this right here. Let's bypass the first compressor, and then let's just go over really quickly.
If I tell you this, then I'm gonna get canceled, but fuck it, cause it's the truth, and I finally found the answer. You gotta be darker.
So that sounds pretty good because there's not really that much instrumentation there, so we might leave that right there, right? But there's some more. That's when the kick, and we have 808s, and we have things that's introducing themselves in the beat. So now we have to go over and see what we hear. So Darker Heartless, that might sound good, but this part probably needed to go up. So let's kind of bring that up a little bit, you know, bring that up. So emotion, let's grab this and kind of bring it up right here. So okay, so let's maybe bring this up a little bit here. And then so that's pretty much what vocal writing is. When you implement that volume automation, that clip gain, so that you know these certain vowels or these certain consonants within the actual lead vocal, you can hear it cut through the beat. Now, the reason why people do this is because there are some transients within the lead vocal where it's too loud, right? So if it's too loud, we might have to, you know, maybe bring this down a little bit because this is too loud. So we'll have to go under, you know what I'm saying? So that's essentially what vocal writing is. That's volume automation. It's used a lot because it really helps you get that perfect vocal, right? It helps you get that perfect lead vocal to sit specifically in the mix. And what I do was kind of a shortcut, you know what I'm saying? I pretty much just say, hey, whatever is loud is what's loud. And it was, you know what I'm saying? It works. But this is a lot more intricate way to really dial in on how to get those vocals to sit perfectly on top of the mix. So if you want to implement that, definitely do it. I definitely advocate it. You know what I'm saying? So that is another way in order to get vocals to sit perfectly in the mix. Now, the third way that I want to use vocals. Well, I guess it's technically the fourth thing because I talked about the beat and, but I guess technically this is the fourth thing, is using EQ, okay, but very slight EQ. And the reason why I say that is because the transients within those higher frequencies, if you boost those just a little bit, that might be all that you necessarily need in order to get that lead vocal to cut through that mix. Because a lot of the times when instrumentals being so heavy in instrumentation of, like a melody and kicks and 808s, specifically in the rap and hip hop era, or era category, if you just boost that EQ slightly within that lead vocal, it really will get that vocal to cut through that mix. So let me show you what I mean by that. So this is the airiness that I want to show you guys right here for the lead. And I want to show you guys what this is doing. Hold on.
Relations, but I got fucked up. You gotta be addicted to these women, they get your luck up. I'm pretty sure if I tell you this, then I'm gonna get canceled. But fuck it, cause it's the truth, and I finally found the answer. You gotta be dark or honest and never show your emotion. And if you sympathize, then you do it with all your homies. You better not ever cry from the women, they won't respect you. They'll tell you to open up, when you do, then they gon' neglect you. I promise you'll be a bitch in their eyes, and I know firsthand. I play the nice guy.
So this airiness, I have the Eosis air. This airiness is what it's doing is that the transients and the high frequencies is really allowing that vocal to cut through the mix, and you can really hear it. Now there are a lot of leads out there that require the airiness to be implemented a lot more in terms of frequency gain. Right, so just to show you guys,
you gotta be addicted to these women, they get your luck up. Relations, but
if it plays for me, hold on, there we go.
Relations, but I got fucked up. You gotta be addicted to these women, they get your luck up. I'm pretty sure if I tell you this, then I'm gonna get canceled. But fuck it, cause it's the truth, and I finally found the answer. You gotta be dark or honest and never show your emotion. And if you sympathize, then you do.
So of course that's a little bit exaggerated, but as you guys heard though, when that kick and that 808 and that melody came in to introduce itself into the beat, and I boost that airiness, you can really hear the transients of the lead vocal cut through the mix. So that's what I mean by getting the lead vocal to sit perfectly in there, is that's required a lot of the times, right? For that EQ, you put that and you add that in there, and it'll really allow your lead vocal to cut through that mix and sit in there. You know what I'm saying? So that is pretty much it, man. Those are the tips and methods that I have for you guys in order for vocals to sit perfectly in the mix. If you guys got any other tips or, tips or tricks or whatever the case is, please comment down below and let everybody else know, because I'm not the only one that reads the comments. Other people that watch this video read them too. You feel me? So thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate y'all for sticking with me throughout this video. If you want anything else, please comment down below and let me know. I'm going to see y'all in the next one, fam. Gang.